A little bit of a mess on the handle, and then this is fun. Not sure what's gone on. It's almost like it was left in a puddle of water, but at a really weird angle. Anyway, let's get to cleaning and see what's under all that cripe. So yeah, one day I'm going to clean this hammer up, but I've been hammering it for a bit, and all it seems to have done is tighten it up. But given the effort that it takes to get that out of there, I've knocked it the other way. Might be able to get that wedge out. After a bit of chipping, again, not too much damage, but the wedge literally broke. So I'm not suggesting that the handle is bad, but the way that this is fractured, plus the state of the hammer, I would suggest that this handle is possibly rotten all the way through. Now, you'd think it'd snap, but I think it's more just in the middle because of how the water or whatever's that's caused this obviously got in to that. We've got a clean break through, but the core of the top of this hammer might be absolutely banjoed. I don't know. We'll see if we can still get the head off. I might be able to see once I give this a bit of a rub down. But yeah, I think this handle might actually be useless. I think it might just be unsafe to use it. But we'll see. Well, I got another piece of the wedge out, and I was right. The head is broken. Not quite all the way through, though. It's probably why it's being so difficult, because I think the water would have gotten in under there and it's made it swell. Because as I'm taking this bit apart, it's just flaking to bits. So, yeah, we'll get it, even if it means snapping it off and hammering it out from the other side. But the top of this handle's not worth saving. The lower half might be all right. I wouldn't want to trust it, though. So, yeah. Yeah, 3 bits of a wedge. 2 bits of a wedge. There's obviously a third bit in there. Fun. Right, well, there's the bit that had broken. But yeah, looking at the just looking at the outside of it, and it's not happy. But then when you look inside it, yeah, you see around these bits just here, you can see where it's had something go wrong. Especially given that that's where it broke on that side. But then you look at the colour of the wood just there. The core is obviously okay, but the outer edge, definitely not happy. And that's not a stain or anything. Well, not a wood stain, shall we say. That's probably a watermark of some description. And given that it's up to the halfway point, it sort of coincides with how this thing's half rusting. So I'm probably going to need a new handle. What I'm probably going to do is cut it down and see what the rest of this looks like, because it could just be the top. It could be that it was in the water like that, or whatever it was in. But it could also have been in like that. So half of this handle could be complete crap. But you can see there's a mark down to about there, where it's obviously seen better days. So if I take the handle down a bit, might be able to see something good further down, but now I need to see what's underneath all that. Yeah, like I say, look at that. How weird is that? Onward. All right, we start as we usually start. Dremel head. Let's see where we go from there. This is the bit I'm curious about. Not looking good. Okay, so this is a little weird because there's obviously a divide where it's been rusted. So I'm never going to get this perfect, not even close. So do I carry on and have sort of a two-faced hammer, as it were, where half of it be very pretty and the other half a ropey, knackered mess? Or I don't think this can ever be used as a hammer ever again. I think there's just too much potential for structural integrity having gone wrong. And with the handle being in the state it's in, I think this is literally just going to be an ornamental piece. I don't know. It's definitely not a happy hammer, let's put it that way. Yeah, even the peen, which is the name for this bit, is relatively nice here. I haven't rubbed it down yet, but then on the rusty side it's pitted and let me go and have a think, see if it's worth carrying on. I've had an idea. So I am going to continue cleaning this up and we'll do the whole wire brush and buff thing. And then I'm going to do something with it. It's come out all right. Unfortunately, because of the tools at my disposal and my ability, I had to go a slightly different way with this one. So it's not a full restoration. It's more of an art piece. Because the handle was split and the head's a rusty piece of garbage. It looks shinier than it actually is. It's just the way the camera's picking it up. But thankfully, I managed to, you can see, this is the old handle, you can see where it had penetrated. I just cut the top off, and it penetrated quite a long way down as well. So I would not use this as a hammer, which is why I've done this with it. I wouldn't trust the head just because of the level of corrosion. I don't know how far that would have penetrated. Seems to only be surface, but in order to get that smooth, you'd have to grind it out. And again, that would not leave much in the way of a hammer. Even to the point where the rust is on the tip, you can see it's got a slight bump at this end, a slight dip compared to the rest of the head, because that's how much the rust has eaten away at the metal. So yeah, I decided to break the split, as it were, on the handle, paint it up with a bit of wood stain, boot polish, even at one point setting fire to it up here. Yeah, it's more a lesson on the perils of what you do with your tools, to be honest. I didn't even bother putting a wedge in the end, because what's the point? I'm never using it as a hammer, because I don't trust the handle and I don't really trust the head. Even though, I know it's solid metal, but it's the two-face of hammers, shall we say. That's the good side, and that's the bad side. I should have put a little bit more weather in, but, it'll work. It does what I need it to do. Anyway, that'll do for this one. I'll see you next time. Ta-da.